Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I am speaking with Justyn Vynn of Orchid. The band has just put out a fantastic new track called Skin, and I'm super excited to talk to them all about it. Justin, I want to sincerely thank you so much for taking the time. How's your day going so far?
Thanks for having me. I'm really glad to be here. My day's going like a normal Monday. I love it.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Except it is Tuesday, but it feels like a Monday for
Oh
me.
my God, it's Tuesday.
Don't even
Wow.
worry about it.
Oh, I guess
No,
not
man.
that great then.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they're all the same day until you get to the end of the week where the fun things happen.
Yeah, where we live our lives.
Exactly. I hope this is fun though, because we're gonna talk all about this single, which I mentioned before that I love. I probably listened to it 5 or 6 times, and it definitely channels like what I love in music. Like it's got shredding guitars and emotion in the vocals. Like it's just sick to like really sum it up.
So
The the first thing that I would love to know from you is what is it about? Like what does this song mean to you and what inspired it?
so that's a phenomenal question. This one's probably one of the easier songs for us to or it's easier for us like emotion wise to kind of get out on the track. It was very
Sure.
difficult to kind of express it to people who aren't in the know, I guess. Really, what the song is about is hookup culture, and without being too, I guess, forward with our personal lives, we're very promiscuous in our single adult male, mid-20s lives.
Yeah, man.
Tinder, Bumble, all those apps were a big part of that, and that type of lifestyle kind of led to the same type of relationships that we were seeing. You would meet with somebody, you'd have a lot of fun, and then it would just become like we don't want any commitment. We're focused on doing what we want to do with our lives. And in our instance with Julian and myself, we were very focused on like we want to play music. We have our day jobs, we have music. We don't have time
Totally.
type of commitments, right?
Yeah.
And more so for Julian, it was like he doesn't want to be sidetracked by anything. He does jujitsu, he does all these martial arts, and
Yeah.
as well as music. So
Sure.
that whole commitment thing we started to see with our respective acquaintances, our respective partners, that we would always have this thing where it was friends with benefits type of thing,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
just straight hookups, booty calls. And over time you start seeing that like it's toxic. It's super toxic on both sides, and you want the other person to kind of want you more, but you also don't want to give as much.
Exactly. Dude, I
Turns
know it's a literal ongoing struggle. And I feel that to a highly relatable degree because I'm kind of the same, where
Yeah,
it's like you have all these amazing things going on for you in your life in terms of obviously making music and hobbies that you don't want to give up. And there's so many hours in the day. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know if, you gotta have a good time for yourself, but you also like don't have to go full into a relationship. I also
exactly.
think that message is super strong because in my opinion, there's too many love songs out there. How many love songs does the world need? This is actually something that feels current and and goes along the lines of like, yeah, I didn't realize that I wasn't the only person this is happening to. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly the type of. I don't know if we were. Julian wrote the lyrics and the melody. He had the song,
Sure.
the instrumentals already kind of written and laid down, and he came with these lyrics, and I just immediately knew exactly what he was talking about. We
Of
both share
course.
that same type of lifestyle. Excuse me.
Right.
And I didn't really even consider it being something that like other people would identify relate with like that. This is just more of our kind of stories type of
Sure.
thing. And you're absolutely right. It is like there's too many love songs, and the stuff that we're seeing around with our friends, our the
Yeah.
relationship you're seeing with are very non-committal. And that's what the kind of the song is speaking about. And the amount of like since the song's been released, the amount of people that have been saying the line, "I feel your skin on my skin."
Right.
I think it's taken on a life of its own, which is very cool. I love hearing that. I mean, right now I am in a committed relationship, which is
Oh,
why
okay. Nice.
considering the song just dropped, right? But
Yeah, that's
the
yeah.
amount of
Well, I
times
was
my
not
girlfriend,
expecting that.
right,
That's
right,
really funny.
but the amount of times my girlfriend will say like, "I feel your skin on my skin." Even if it's not a love song, there is still that like there's passion there. There was absolute passion and sexual tension, which is what
Sure.
we wanted to have in the music video too.
Totally. No, man, it feels like that. Now, in terms of the actual band, it is just you and Julian. Is that correct?
That's it. Yeah, just me and the singer.
Nice. So how does it work in terms of actually creating the music, like the process of starting a song or even the production, like fine tuning it once, the core is finished? Like what does that process look like?
Good question. We kind of take different routes with things. There's no
On
like,
on each song, you mean?
yeah,
Okay,
almost
got it.
like it's hard to say. Like we have a lot of ideas, but
Sure.
sometimes it'll start off with I have a guitar riff, and then I might finish the rest of the music around this riff in the sense of like the guitar, and then Julian might come in and add drums or bass, or oftentimes
Okay.
I would add the bass, he would write the drums, and then sometimes I'll come in with melodies, or he comes in with melodies and lyrics. For Skin, it was I love telling the story because Julian, when the pandemic hit, we kind of moved away from going to the studios for production, which I will speak on. And I set up this room in my condo to be able to record because I don't know what part of the world you're from, but in Quebec we had a curfew lockdown, so we couldn't leave the house after 8. And that
Yeah, exactly.
it's 5 months of that, and that was, to anyone who's a musician, that's almost detrimental to being able to create and release anything. Uh,
Totally.
so I decided to like let's just do it from home. I was always resistant to doing that because I didn't feel I would get the quality from it.
Right.
Mostly because I didn't know how to really interact with all of the gear that I would need and how it was supposed to be used. I just knew what the sound that I wanted was. And we put our heads together. We have this room in here. And he brought me Skin. Like he had a bass and drum track, and I immediately hated it. I thought it sucked. I thought it was like
Sure.
completely just ripping off Nine Inch Nails is what I told him, and he very positively encouraged me to just play some guitar over it. And because he was being like super cool about it, like, all right, I'll play guitar over it. I'm not gonna like it, but I'm gonna do it.
Sure.
Over that course, I wrote the guitar riffs that you hear. Almost basically every part came on, and I wrote that. It wasn't even a like I wouldn't even didn't really need to work through it. From there, I was like, hey, this is actually pretty good. You're right. The next time he came over, he had the lyrics and melody. We recorded the vocals. He sent out the drums to be programmed by a good friend of his, Black Bones, and
Okay.
that's like one example of a song and how we wrote it. Another one is we were very focused on trying to write like a reggaeton inspired rock song, which was
Sure.
Paradise. So all I need to do, I was just listen to a lot of reggaeton. I love it to begin with.
Yeah.
Trying to get into that mood, and I wrote the guitar parts. I put the bass to it. Julian had the drums, and yeah, the lyrics were a very collaborative thing because we struggled so hard on writing something very positive,
Right.
for change. Usually our stuff is more cynical or skeptic, and or about the ends of relationships and stuff like that. So we struggle with the lyrics, and we put our heads together on that. And our writing process is whoever has an idea, let's run with it. Whoever has a vision for the overall sound of the song,
Yeah.
with it, produce it, if you will. And that's kind of how we function, and we think that, or I feel that the music that we've come out with that's why it's so hard to define, is because it's not following a basic formula. It's just following what we hear in our respective heads, and
Totally.
like a lot of the same music, but we also don't.
No, I'm actually so happy that you say that because it was my instant thought. And it's something that I wanted to ask you too, but like for anyone that listens to this, there are so many styles and genres that like show themselves. Like it's a 5+ minute track. It
Mm.
has so many little ideas and motifs and little passages that happen. But obviously I want to hear from you. Like, what's the elevator pitch for this song? Like for someone that hasn't listened to it, how do you describe it? It doesn't even need to be in terms of genre, but just like this is what you're gonna get. You've already touched on it a little.
That has always been my Achilles heel, is how do I describe something that
Right.
so many people,
Right.
who do we sound like, just to get like something.
Yeah.
And even Spotify doesn't have a fans also like, because
Yeah.
I've hit them up and like, we have way more numbers than these guys, way more numbers than these guys, and they
Sure.
have like the algorithm just doesn't know who you sound like.
But that should be a compliment nowadays
It
because
is.
everything sounds like everything. Like everything
It really is. I
is
really do take it as
influenced by
like
one
this.
another.
I really do take it as this crazy thing
Yeah.
where, wow, we are in our own little box, but it also kind of hurts us.
Totally.
It's like, where do we put you guys? Like, what playlist do you function on?
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
It's super difficult.
it's become such a boxy world of genres and titles and things that are catchy in the sense of like, this is
Yeah.
this retrograde industrial alternative track with like its speaker bass, that whole type of
Like,
genre
what are
thing.
you supposed to say? I don't know.
So I
Um,
think that to answer the question about skin, it'd be like, imagine Nine Inch Nails got a shredder who knew when to shred and knew when to let the song speak.
okay.
Uh, and it's in like an industrial style, a modern industrial alternative track that's dark but sexy. And it just makes you want to dance. I have no idea. How would you describe it, really?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. But like again, I say that as the biggest compliment because truly so much music is just like for example, like pop music right now. Everyone has synthesizers and everyone is infusing like an 80s touch into it. Everyone's trying to be like the weekend. You know what I mean? Or like Billie Eilish and create like those dark pop vibes. But when it comes to your music, it actually aims to think outside the box and does things different and doesn't stick to a particular format. And it's like, sure, there's, a chorus and this and that, but like, I don't know, it just does its own thing and that's all it needs to be. I don't know. I think if you're an adventurous listener, like this would be up your alley.
I think that is probably the thing I'm going to start you saying to people now. If you're adventurous, check this out. I think
There
that
you
really
go. If you
expresses.
need some excitement in your life, click the play
Yeah,
button.
you want something that it's harder to find come out, because like almost every band that I've known, and I've been playing music for a long time and know a
Right.
lot of artists. They always say that they sound different, but I can clearly hear what they're going for. It's like it's
Yeah.
not really that difficult to see that it's derivative of these two artists that you really liked.
Sure.
Some similar to like The Weeknd or Billie Eilish, which we're actually huge fans of, and we do take a lot from them, but it
Sure. Yeah.
conceptually, not sound wise,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
That's I think what may separate us is that we're not stealing the sound or what they did in this specific song, but going from like a G to a C. But conceptually, what were they thinking there? And how can we come up with our own, not only our own concepts, but how can we
Totally.
incorporate that with what we're going to do in the future?
Yep. Right there with you. Um, Now, are you playing shows? Is that a thing that is happening?
That is the thing that is happening. We've
Okay.
just played our first official show this weekend, Saturday.
Oh
Uh,
shit! Congrats. That's
thank you.
amazing. How did it
It
go?
was
What did it look like?
It was phenomenal. It was really an absolute party. We were sandwiched in between a bunch of metal bands, and we're not the people that say that we're in a metal band. Not even close. I have my background does come from like hard rock, heavy metal,
Yeah, yeah.
specifically like the shredder era of 80s metal. But this is not a metal band by any stretch. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
And we saw that there were people piling in, and we did sell a phenomenal amount. We have a pretty good fan base in Montreal that came out and supported, and it was an absolute party. I was at
Oh
a new
yeah.
venue. It's called Piranha Bar.
Okay.
Well, around for years, but they've opened a brand new state of the art
Oh,
venue.
got it. Got it.
It was sick. We got it on
Nice.
video. And I guess the next question might be how are we doing it with only two members?
I was gonna say there's so much going on in your music. I was like, wait, there's only two guys doing this? This is wild. Yeah. What's it looking like?
So yeah, we're two guys with very big heads on what we like to hear in our music,
Yeah.
and we keep incorporating different elements. And for live, we're a singer and guitar player. You see two people bands, you see like 21 Pilots or Royal Blood, and there's a common theme with these two-person groups like the Black Keys. It's
Yeah.
always a singer and a drummer. The
Right.
drummer's always there as a background. We don't have a drummer, which causes some problems like for shows, but also opens up our mind to be able to do what we want, in the rhythm section, since there
Totally.
is no rhythm section here.
Yeah.
But we have a buddy of ours. His name's Dan Milan. He has a YouTube channel and Instagram, and he's from Montreal. A friend of Julian's for a very, very, very long time. He's been helping us out and playing some shows with us.
That's nice.
He's not an official member. We kind of want
Yeah,
to keep
yeah.
it for now, but he did a phenomenal job. We have backing tracks. It's almost the only way we can do it is with backing tracks.
Yeah.
And most people have been really understanding of that. One person has like, well, why don't you just do it like the way, like just you and him? Because of like it's impossible. There's no
Impossible.
bass. Yeah,
Yeah.
no bass. It would
Right.
just be it wouldn't even be a good show. Like you're gonna be missing
Yeah.
elements.
No, I get it. I
It's
get it.
so
I can't
basic.
imagine it. There's
Yeah.
truly, you could have 10 guys up there all doing their own thing. but that's just
Yeah,
music.
exactly. And we couldn't even find members to begin with in the beginning. That's
Right.
why too. We would just it's either we spend all of our time looking for adequate members, one, or people who are willing to go as hard as we're trying to, or we just do it ourselves. And that
Right.
was the thing with shows. Either we wait to find people to play with us or we make it work. And that's kind of the onus of Orchid is that we're gonna make it work no matter what.
That's all you can do, man. Really, it is. Um, I've got a few more for you. I
Yeah.
want to know, what does the next year of your guys' life look like? Obviously, we're very close towards the end of the year here. Things feel like they're starting to wind down music wise. But yeah, what would you like to see happen? What are like some lofty goals that you potentially like to hit?
It's a great question, man. We have a lot of ideas, a million of them. The first
Of
thing that's going to
course.
happen is we have another song called "Good Enough," which is a very sad, dark song. One we haven't released yet. It's
All
very much
right.
about heartbreak. And if you've ever been had your heart broken, you had those thoughts in your head. Uh, like I said, the song's called "Good Enough." That's going to come out. We're going to film a music video for that one too. We're actually
Sweet.
in the early stages of planning when we do that.
Okay.
And then we have another song called Little Machines, which kind of is more similar in style to Skin in the sense of like this industrial alternative type of synth kind of song with, of course, my guitar playing on there. Very
Right.
it's fun. It'll get you going at parties. And then the real plan is for next year to release our debut album.
Nice. Nice.
You have a bunch of songs written for that, but it's so they're not. Some of them are fully developed. Some of them are still skeleton, but the idea of the album is very skeleton. We don't have a name for it yet. We don't have artwork. We're planning on it to be released in the
No
summer.
rush. Take your
I,
time. The
I
music
know
is
you
what
say that, but like,
matters.
these are so exciting that you just want to do it right.
I know. It's like you can't sleep at night because you're just like so amped up. I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, hey, at least you're passionate about it. Some people are just phoning it in and like, oh, I'll figure it out when it comes.
You
And
think? You
oh,
think
what do
some
you
people
mean? I
are phoning
needed to turn that in 2 months ago. Like, yeah.
it in? You think people are phoning it in?
Sometimes, yeah, I think people that aren't as passionate or people that just like want someone else to take care of it for them, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I think it's different between more of like an independent artist or like a true DIY artist, instead of like, oh well, I've got this person and that person and they're just telling me what to do and I'll just get up
Oh
on stage,
yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? So it's like your heart is clearly into it, so that's what you're doing.
Yeah, we're definitely really our hearts are definitely there. I've tried retiring from music before. Like I'm just gonna not
No,
do
can't do
this
that.
professionally. Yeah, not I'm
Or
gonna do this professionally. I'll just play at home and you
sure.
know get stability in my life. And I got that, but there's that passion is still there. It's still calling.
Oh
It's
yeah.
way more intense than any type of people say it's like an addiction, but I think it's a step above it. I want the passion. I don't want the addiction.
Yeah.
Like I want to
No, no,
be
no, of course. Well, they kind of come hand in hand. I think there's also like, I think all artists, there's a baseline of perfectionism too. It's like your name is attached to this, like your reputation is on the line somewhat, even like close family and friends that see the project first. Like, it has to be good. It has to be great. And you spend so much time thinking about it and thinking about it. And yeah,
yeah,
you become
man.
very immersed in your own projects.
It's perfection is the enemy of good. And a lot of people say
This is true.
it can't just be good, it's got to be great, but a lot of the times you don't really you can't really help that. Great becomes something.
Totally. Yeah,
I mean, even like, recording Skin here, and the new tracks
sure.
that we put in my studio, I was so resistant. We were so resistant to that
Sure.
because we wanted that studio quality. You go to a guy who knows what he's doing. He produces it. He mixes it. He does it all. And we have a good mixer, phenomenal, award winning, and a good mastering tech as well.
Yeah.
And when I came to realize that like the studio is ceremony, it really we got a really good sound with Skin, and for as long as it took us to actually get it out the door, I realized that we were trying to be perfectionists on things that didn't really matter. Like Skin isn't perfectly aligned in certain places if you
Interesting.
pay attention, but it still has that feel. And I'm fully committed to like perfection is the enemy of good. I don't need it to be perfect. I just want it to be, do I like hearing this?
Right.
And very much the same way. Do I like hearing this? Is this good? Can I hold back from showing somebody even though I know I shouldn't?
Of
That's the
course.
chasing.
Wild, man. I have one more question for you. I basically want to know for the person that is going to discover you guys from this, what is an opening message that you'd like to say to them before they listen to your music for the first time?
One, thanks for checking us out. Two, whatever you think we're gonna sound like is definitely not on the table. It's not at all what you're expecting. Even when you hear one song, the next one's gonna be completely different. It what you can expect is it's music that will make your head bang, but it'll also make you want to dance. You can show it to your mother. You can, have it could be played at a comedy show. I know this because this one of our songs is the actual theme of a comedy podcast.
Nice.
And we want to hear what you have to say. We want to hear what you think about it and what kind of emotions it brought up in you. And thank you for supporting.
I think that's a fantastic answer and a great way to wrap this up. Justyn, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. Please let me plug this song for you guys one more time. If you didn't catch it the first time around, the song is called Skin. We will have links in the article so that people can listen and share and follow along. And it obviously sounds like there's a ton more coming on the way. So now be the perfect time to kind of focus in and see what the band is up to.
Appreciate that. That's really awesome. Yeah, follow us on Spotify,
Yeah,
Instagram.
man.
We're everywhere.
All that good stuff. All right, Justyn, thank you so much again.
Thank
And
you.
I hope to speak soon. Tell Julian I say hey. We'll catch him next time.
Take it
All
easy, man.
right. Later,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Bye bye.
Bye.